Hello everyone, welcome to the biannual TCC Poetry Night. Tonight we have two poets about to read some poetry to you guys, and we hope you enjoy it. Up first we have Eli.
Okay, I'm gonna read two. They're relatively short. This first one is called Meet Your Maker. I do not believe in religion. I'm a scientist after all. The believers try to show me so-called proof, scare me into faith. Coincidences are miracles, accidents are evidence. Someday you'll meet your maker, they say. Someday you'll have to atone for your mistakes. What they really mean, what they really preach, everything you want is sin. You are the wrong and the wicked for your natural state. So I could meet my fucking maker. It wouldn't make a difference. And if I really do meet my maker, I'll call it a two-faced evil bastard without hesitation. If there is a heaven and a hell, I'll be praying to go to the latter. An afterlife of judgmental stares from the pews is my purgatory. I'll find my refuge in an eternity of blazing fire. Because the church controls with shame, and I can contain my pride no longer. In my life, I am the maker. After I left, I became the God, the lover, the creator. Next one's about war, so just as light. It's called Stars and Stripes. Just kidding. I think I'm gonna read an ending, which is also about war. Sorry, I should have prefaced that I don't write happy poetry. But yeah. This is called an ending. This war will end one way or another. Politicians shaking hands and making friends, signing legislation, truces and ceasefires that won't last a decade. Soldiers packing away their weapons of war, leaving behind destruction to go back where they came from. This land will accompany them home. Civilians grieving the life they had before a foreign government with foreign bombs cleaved it apart. Trying to rebuild their houses and their families, efforts that cannot erase the raging of their minds at the stillness of someone else's heart. This war will end, one way or another. And then the politicians will forget the casualties and bloodshed after one too many luncheons with lobbyists. The soldiers will retire and be replaced by fresh-faced cadets. The civilians will pray to their apathetic gods for peace to survive a little while longer. This war will end, one way or another. Just to find oil or weapons of mass destruction or a country in need of democracy somewhere else, just for another to begin.
Okay everyone, thank you for that. Up next we have Taryn.
I guess it's my turn. This is going to be a very short poetry night. Alright, we ready? Did I just go? I don't really name my poems. I also don't write happy poetry. I'm not sure I've ever met anybody who does. Alright. Did I make some mistake? Hurt you with my overthinking? Burn you from across the lake? The radio silence vibrates in your absence. I cling to your words until my mind molds them into knives, until the only image I have of you is of your back as you leave. I have tried 1,000 times to pull you out of the darkness. I have tried to lead you somewhere lighter, some field of flowers where we'll find our future, and none of it seems to matter. It's your turn now, if you'll take it, to take me somewhere softer, to tell me my messes are minuscule in comparison to the love you have for me. But I think you let me mold this idea of love from your malleable soul. You let me change you in a million ways because you couldn't bear the thought of turning me away, and yet, the mouth of the cave gapes at us because it has seen us before, one in front of the other, me in front of you. It never anticipated that we would be back and that you would be forced to leave. I looked back. I'm not sure you will. I have at least 2 more, possibly 3, depending on the vibes. I have to scroll because it's all one document.
I'll do the same thing.
Alright. I forgive, perhaps, too easily. It takes everything in me not to fall to your feet, to fight the urge to fawn and plead for mercy, until you tell me you love me just so, that I'm perfect when I'm unobtrusive and unnoticed, and a little less of this or that, a little less clingy or a little less me. And really, it's no surprise, is it, that you didn't love me by the end? What of me was there to love when I ripped into my ribcage to claw up everything you ever deemed unworthy? There was nothing more to give you then, and I get the impression that I must give to be wanted, must provide to be protected, must do something to be deserving of things I'd offer you with no questions asked. And I did offer them to you, make no mistake. I gave you everything, and what did you say when the smoke was thicker than what I could filter out when I was at my worst? You said I did something bad. I know I did, and I know it was wrong, and I never would have told you if I hadn't done it twice. Never would have given you the one thing you asked for, had it not been for my own weakness, had I not been tempted, had I not found someone to give me everything that you can't. Had you not been so sick and sad and tired, had you pushed yourself a little further, had you not only dug out your intercostal muscles, but cracked your ribs for me too, maybe then I would have wanted you. Maybe then it would have been enough. Not once in the aftermath did you say sorry. Not really. And the saddest part, I think, is that the smoke has cleared now. It doesn't sting to open my eyes anymore, so I open them. But there's an ache in my lungs that may never go away, an after effect, an arsonist's consequence, and I've always hated the stench of secondhand smoke, so fuck you very much for the reminder. But I can see the stars again, and I can trace my own freckles in the constellations, and I don't hate myself the way I did before, and I don't hate you either. Maybe I should. Maybe if I were somebody else I would. But I don't hate. It's exhausting. And you're the most unhinged, most life-changing, most hilariously heartbreaking story I have to tell. The smoke has cleared and I am patching up my wounds. It's a rehabilitation, in a way. A detox, if you will. The best thing I've done for myself in years, and make no mistake. I am better than I've ever been, and I thank the stars that I'll never be able to look at you the same. Thank you. Alright, I have another one that also is unnamed. My mind runs wild with comparisons, and I feel bad, a little, to compare you to him. It's indecent, it's disrespect, it's betrayal. Why is it betrayal? Who is there to betray now when he made his choice and you're still weighing your options, when I'm still weighing my options? Anyway, the human mind is an odd thing at its core, seeking order in chaos and warmth in bitter cold. I disrobe in your bed the same way I did in his, the same way I'd do if I were dying of hypothermia. The agony of feeling your blood boil under your skin, a misfire in my brain, something seizing and twisting frostbitten limbs. I hope there is not a pattern, a trend here. You smile when you kiss me in a way he never did. We laugh about princess treatment and my predictability, and I don't mind that I'm just like every other almost girl that's just like me. I make fun of your mistakes in a way that is more flirting than fighting. This is all new to me, and I'm caught up in it, the whirlwind, and I think I might hear tornado sirens in the distance. Because I go home alone each night, like I know I should for now, and he crosses my mind. It's bittersweet in some ways. He was a muse and a maniac and a misfire in my brain, and I have to wonder as I write your name into the whisper of guitar strings if you'll end up the same. But surely we're safe, for now. What I feel here is so much lighter than what I remember feeling for him, and God, there's that pain again, a white-hot knife in my chest when I realize everything bright and good he ever gave me is a memory now. But I don't feel so much for you yet, and I feel bad, a little, but you didn't see me back in April, so I decide it's for the best. He was my past, and he is my present, but so are you, and I am uncertain. He is not my future. That much I can promise. I'm going to do one more, because we've only been here for like 20 minutes. Alright. I scour the headlines in a way I only can in the face of tragedy, in the face of I have to know what happened, of who did what and why. I think about pain from a distance, This never mattered much to me before, and yet I read on with tears in my eyes, trying to swallow back whatever it is that's lodged in my throat. And condolences pour in from strangers, and I do not own this grief, I don't. But I want to take them by the shoulders and shake, ask them how they can't see how hollow their words will seem, how no words will ever ease the ache, this ache that doesn't even belong to me. I am not grieving, I'm not. But this is deeper, even, than bone deep for us. It was one thing when it was those who were old or sick, the faces blown up onto silver screens that were lined with wrinkles before we could even comprehend aging in any tangible way. And perhaps that's why. Because nothing has ripped through the silk and satin of childhood like this before. And I was not one of them, but I was close, and I love deeply, let empathy bleed freely like a head wound, or is that too dark? So I think about grief and the way it spreads like a contagion, the way I cry when you cry, the way I live in pen to paper, and damn it, I think he did too. I think about loss and the way I feel it so acutely in my chest, long before it sinks into the pit in my stomach, and the way I'm grieving my parents in their 50s, and my cat when she's 12, and my relationships before they've even begun. I was born with this grief, and I will die with this grief, and it will not grow, and it will not shrink. I will, as I must, learn to live around it. I will tread carefully on blade-battered feet, and I will grow ever more graceful for it. And when the time comes, I'll feel a hand on my heart, and part of me will always wonder if it's his.
Thank you so much, Taryn, for that. Oh. Wow, we have another poet coming back up.
Well, I'm not sure. The people want me to. We do. The people want it. Cry out. The people demand it. I'm thinking if I should go like old.
People wanted it.
I saw you panning the camera. Just to show we're the people. We are the people.
I love that band.
What's a band?
Okay, so what are we thinking? Mildly depressing or really depressing? What do the people want?
I'm down for anything.
Oh man.
I think the people want very depressing.
Oh no.
I love a good, very depressing poem.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Who doesn't?
Because I'll give you one. Yeah, okay. Eli again. Okay. Trigger warning, sad. Lots of sad. It's short, don't worry. It's called Gore and the Teenage Dream. I wrote it in January this year in my dorm in Coleman. I haven't celebrated my birthday since I was 12. I thought it was selfish to have an entire day to myself. When 13 came around, I avoided the subject like a plague. I couldn't have a party because I couldn't eat the cake. My 14th birthday happened during spring musical season. It was a blur of thinking of ending it all, but in the end I couldn't find a reason. 15 wasn't memorable. In comparison to the world falling apart, a birthday seemed dull. There was no sweet 16. All I did was run 16 miles, refuse to eat, then shove my face in my pillow and scream. 10 days before I turned 17, I was supposed to end. No happy birthday, just a pill bottle and a lot of regret. 18 was so very different and so very confusing, just me staring into the mirror at the body I had been abusing. 19 was really when it really hit me in all its glory. I don't think the teenage dream was ever supposed to be this gory. I'll do one more, a little bit less sad to end. Yeah, it's very cheesy, but I wrote it like last year. Yeah, it sort of sums up my poetry. Okay. It's called A Bad Poem. Subtlety, grace, rhythm, detail, a powerful message. Whatever it is that people mean when they label a poem as good. You won't find it here. You won't find it in any of my poems because that's not what I want. I want to write bad poetry because it makes you sad and angry, and most of all, makes you think about how good it could have been with more time, a better author. And that's why I like it so much. What could my life have been like? What could I have been like with more time, a better author?